Everybody to our August council meeting, and before we start I'm going to hand over to Roger to say a prayer for us. Thank you, Roger.
Good afternoon. For those who don't know me, my name is Roger Phelps and I'm the minister of the Anglican Church. Let's bow our heads and talk to God in prayer. Dear Lord and God, we praise you because you are the Almighty God, the one who is the creator and sustainer of the world. And we thank you that you show us who you are, your character and your holiness through Jesus Christ. We thank you that through Jesus, he is our Lord and Saviour, and that through his death on the cross and his resurrection to life, our relationship with you can be restored. So please help us to trust and honour him. And in today's meeting, we pray that the discussions would be clear, that people would speak well and listen well, that each would be clearly understood, and therefore the best outcomes could be achieved throughout this meeting. We pray for all council workers that are out in the field today and in the office. We ask that their practices would be safe, that they would start their day and finish their day in the same manner. They would be healthy in this, and we ask that they would be effective and efficient in their work. And Lord, we pray for our broader community, and we ask that you'd help us to have an awareness of our community and know the people who are in need in this situation. We ask that you would enable our community to work well together, to grow and to flourish. Help us to know how this happens best, and to know that this happens best in our relationship with you. And again, we just thank you for the crops and that are growing so well in the region, the rains that you've provided, that you've enabled the country to thrive. And hence to close, we say, now unto him who is able to do immeasurably more than we can ask or imagine, according to his power that is at work in us now, to him be glory in the church and in Jesus Christ throughout all generations, forever and ever. Amen. Meet well.
Thank you very much, Roger. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land where we're meeting today, the Wiradjuri people, and pay our respects to their elders past, present and all elders that will be forthcoming in the future. I'd also like to acknowledge anyone within the chamber that may be a First Nations person. We welcome you as well. Would someone like to move the confirmation of the minutes of the previous meeting? It's been moved by Councillor Matisky, seconded by Councillor Herbert. Any discussion? If not, I'll put it. All those in favour say aye. Against, I declare it carried. There are no apologies that I'm aware of. So we will go into our condolences. The people that have died in our Shire over the last... Oh, yeah. I think you all know Chris is online. Councillor Roy Lance is online. He's been very unwell this week. And we're going to, when we do withdrawals, we're going to take all of Councillor Roy Lance's withdrawals and then we'll come back to the chamber, so that we don't want to mess like we have had before with people online and some in the chamber. So we're going to do it a little bit more sorted this month. Anyway, the people that have died in our Shire over the last month: Jean Edith Booth, Frank Alexander Langfield, Murray Scott Field, Helen Margaret Bassett, Gary Francis Lambert, Murray Ernest White, Nola Sams, Norma Joyce Lamb, Leanne Biles, Tony Nash, Pearl Maguire, and I'd also like to mention Councillor Roy Lance's father-in-law, Debbie Roy Lance's father, Eric Miles. Would you please stand for a moment? Yes, it's been moved by Councillor Webb that we send a letter of condolence to the family. Seconded by Councillor Herbert. I'll put it. All those in favour say aye. Against, I declare it carried. Okay, we've got some presentations, some exciting ones. I'm going to hand over to our engineer. We've got two new employees and we're going to meet you today. So over to you, Richard.
Okay, thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll first start with Matthew Moore. Matthew is part of our urban services team, so working with David Ramsey as a plant operator.
Hello everyone, Matthew Moore, multi-school plant operator. I've been with local government for about 20 years. Currently, within 6 months, we've moved to Forbes Shire Council and loving it, so yeah.
Where have you come from?
Maureen.
Oh,
So.
you've made a wise choice. Good on you, good on you.
Yeah, so that's been great so far. And, yeah.
I used to work at Maureen Council
Oh really?
back in the early 90s.
Oh, right, yeah.
Years.
Yeah, and I was in
I'm doing
waste services for probably 10 years, 11 years, so yeah.
so you know Clancy and
Yeah, I can see. I love the boys, yeah. So.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, great to have you. Welcome. Thank you.
And secondly, we've got Isaac Nash, who's a multi-skilled operator. So just having a bit of a chat to Isaac earlier, and he's done a lot of stuff in the short period he's been with us, concreting and I'll leave it over to you.
Yeah. G'day everybody, I'm Isaac Nash, I'm Forbes boy, been here my whole life, and I've been on the council for about 2 weeks now, and I've been just floated around everywhere, so wherever job's needed I'll just pop up. And I'll play footy for the Forbes Magpies.
Go the Maggies.
Go the Maggies, yeah. So I've been playing for them. I've been a Red Bend junior since I was little, and coming up through the grades I moved over to the Maggies and played footy from the under 18s, and currently in first grade in the squad. So currently loving the job I'm doing at the moment. It's a very, very big step from my last job, just out the tannery, packing cow hides in, so it's a big step and I'm loving it at the moment. So
That's a great one. Good on you. We're very pleased to have you.
very pleased to be here.
Fantastic. Okay, we'll now hand over to Melanie Suter, our road safety officer. Melanie's going to give us a presentation on what she's been doing.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I actually came along to give you your trophy. So we were the winner of this year's Local Government Excellence in Road Safety Awards at the IPWEA conference back in March. And this was for the load restraint education project that we rolled out last year. So we did a village tour of 12 villages across 3 council areas. We had 100 farmers come along, distributed some packs, did some videos, and we saw a 69% reduction in breach notices. So it was really successful, so very worthy, and it was one of the best projects that I have done in my time here at council. So
You right for a photo, Kat?
Lovely.
it's a nice
Yeah, it is a woody one.
You just have that shot.
I'm just saying nothing.
There you go, that's it. Just
She's realising.
I am.
Yeah.
I'll just go No lens can find it.
Struggling a little bit. Okay, there we go. Thanks, guys.
I'll just pass that along so everyone can have a look at it. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Melanie. Thank you. And it was great out there the other day. You did a great job with the
Yeah, congratulations.
with the harvest, safe harvest day. It was great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks. Right. Hello, see you. There's no public forum, so what we'll do, I'll ask Councillor Roy Lance for his withdrawals, and then we'll come back to the chamber.
That'd be good. Good, would they?
Councillor Roy Lance?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. If I just write these down. Page 1639.
What number?
39.
You got okay?
Yes. Got that? Yes.
Page 1960.
Page 1960. Yep.
Page 28, 105.
What did you say, 105?
Wait a minute, wait.
105 on page 28, and then what was the next page?
Page 74.
74.
Page
Yep.
74,
74.
Hang on.
We won't worry about the confidential. We'll deal with that as we go through because it's only a small paper. Is that it? Okay. No worries.
Could I just, please just raise, my son's been put into sick bay at St Lawrence's.
Yeah.
So they're just trying to sort something out because his mother's in the gun at the present. So I probably won't draw anything out in case I...
No worries. If you're here at any time and you want to speak on something,
Thank you.
we'll certainly give you that opportunity, Councillor Crowley. And I hope he's okay. Okay, let's start on page 8. 9.
Number 7, please.
10. 11.
Can you just say who said that?
Yeah, Councillor Webb. Oh, yeah, I will. I'm sorry.
7.
Yes.
Thank you.
Page 11. 12. 13. 14.
Yes, please, 28.
28. Councillor Duggan.
Thank you.
15.
Yes, number 36.
Number 36. Councillor Willis.
And I'll have 32, please.
And Councillor Webb, 32. 16.
16.
42 is, hang on a minute, Councillor Herbert. Councillor Willis.
39.
It's already been
Heated
pulled,
pool.
It's already
39.
withdrawn
Oh,
by
right, thank
Councillor
you.
Rowland.
because I
Thank you.
had that too. Oh, yes, it is there.
Page 17.
No, just to change chain man's to China man's bridge, that was all. Typo.
18, 19,
Sorry, 18 of
50.
53.
Michelle Herbert. What did you-
Okay.
And what number?
No, I won't pull anything on that.
And Councillor Rowlands has got number 60 on page 19. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29.
Councillor Lawrence is on 28.
Yeah,
He's got the.
we've already got that. Okay, moving over.
29, did you say, Mayor Miller?
Page 29. yeah.
110.
Right.
Page 29, Willis.
110, Councillor Willis, Councillor Rowlands. Okay, moving over to page 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38.
Yes, please.
Councillor Webb. Councillor Webb, page 38. Right, we'll take that, all of that, those recommendations, and we'll move through those. Page 49. 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68.
68, 18.5, Willis. Just a question.
Councillor Willis got that page 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, which Councillor Roylance has got that, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 90, 91, 81, sorry. I was jumping a few then. 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92.
Yes. 92. Oh, okay, Jen.
Councillor Webb, what are you withdrawing?
92 complaints.
18.10.
Councillor Webb has got page 92. We'll go through.
122.
Page 122.
Please.
Councillor Duggan. 123, 124, 125, 6, 7, 8, 129, 130, 131, 132, 133.
133, 18.4 Willis, just a question or two.
Did you get that, Councillor Roylance? Councillor Willis on page 133.
150.
134, 135, 136, 137, 138, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46. And I want to withdraw just a little bit on page 147 in relation to Visitor Information Centre, so I'll just put myself in there. So I've got page 147 where it says Visitor Service Report. 148, 149, 150, 151, 152, 153, 154, 155, 156, 157, 158, 159, 160, 161, 162, 163, 164, 65, 166, 167, 168, 169, 170, 171. Now, I'd just like to draw your attention to 172. That's been accidentally put in the business paper, so we will formally remove that when we get to page 172. So would someone like, because we adopted it last month, we do not need it again. So would someone like to withdraw it so we remember to formally withdraw it? Thank you, Councillor. So we take it from the business paper. 174, 175, 176, 177, 178, 179, 180, 181, 182, 183, 184, 185, the General Manager has got that. That's all in our section. Got page 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 13, Councillor Roylance, 14, 15, 16, 17.
Just a question for on 27.3, page 17.
Councillor Willis, page 17. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23.
Yes, can I take that one?
Yes.
Michelle.
Did you get that, Councillor?
Thank you.
Yep, good. 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29.
29, please. 29 and 30, please. Oh, sorry, go back to...
So it's 27.6 on page 26.
Yeah, I've got it. Thank you very much, Councillor Willis. I've got that for you, Councillor Duggan. 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 38, 38, Councillor Roylance. 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46.
Willis, that's 27.11. Just question.
47, 48, 49, 50, and we will do it with the supplementary in totality. So we'll go back to this one's so bad. Councillor Webb, the floor is yours. Number 7.
Number 7, the Central Water Grid. I'm just wondering if there's any updates. It seems to be an ongoing process. So not on our behalf, I realise that.
Yeah, through you, Madam Mayor. Short answer is no, I haven't heard anything since we discussed it 7 months ago. 6 months ago, I just haven't heard any more.
Thank you.
Okay. Councillor Duggan. 28.
Yeah, through you, Madam Mayor, I would want an update on the bins in Mars Lane, but since looking at the paper, I've spoken to MidPro, the owner of MidPro, yesterday, and he did advise that those bins were currently in construction and we should be fine with the September delivery date, but I'll pass that to Matt to confirm, please.
Thank you, through you, Madam Mayor. Councillor Duggan, you almost answered your own question.
Yes, I did.
Yes, so the local contractor has been engaged. They gave us a time frame of the end of September for the delivery of the additional bin base for Mars Lane. And as far as I'm aware, they're on track for that delivery. So that will herald basically the next stage of the clean-up of Mars Lane. At that point, we'll remove the unidentified bins from the lane, which will help to clean up too.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Matt. Thanks. Councillor Duggan. Councillor Webb, 32.
32, just that I think 32 has been replaced by 86, that's all. Just to streamline.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Thank you, Jenny.
Now, can you just say that again?
We're talking about Forbes Ninja Park, the speedway on the road. I think it's been replaced by 86.
It's a duplication, isn't it? Yeah.
It's duplicated, and we need to put them together.
Yeah.
Can you make a note of that? That's just a notation. Thank you. Okay, Councillor Willis.
Through you, Madam Mayor, and I guess to you, Madam Mayor, and the General Manager, just wondering, are you in a position to update us on the request from the Forbes and District Soccer Club regarding the event that they requested support for at this point?
certainly can. It's not a big monetary help they need. It's just sort of, I'll just have a look what we came up with. I think I'll put it in. No, maybe I.
Stephen's got some notes.
Yeah, you've got the notes, Stephen.
Yeah,
You've
I've got
got
some
them
notes,
with
yes.
you?
Yeah, through you, Madam Mayor. Obviously, it was a very good discussion. There are a few items Council will be providing. It's mostly assistance with things like fencing. Obviously, we have fencing. We have grandstands, so we'll be providing fencing. We'll be providing grandstands. There will have to be a bond paid for said fencing and grandstands. We'll ensure the bins are emptied before the event, like we would for nearly all events. There was some discussion around black mesh. We'll also provide an amazing tent, council tent, while we're there at the event as well. And there'll be a little bit of work on the flags and banners, some soccer banners that will have to get developed for placing down the main street for when there are soccer events going forward.
They'll be generic.
Yeah, so they'll be very generic. And the Corfu signs will be developed by the soccer club. There was some discussion about one of the buildings as well, and whether the soccer club could paint the building. But I believe that's still ongoing, so it is obviously a council building. And we're going to provide other assistance in terms of a list of food vendors that the soccer club could chase up, and obviously sort of help in sharing their posts on Facebook. So that's, I'll just double check if there's anything I've missed. Help them book the field, but that's normal standard practice for any event. The soccer club was going to contact the Chamber of Commerce to help push advertisement for the event. I don't know if that's happened.
Yes, they have.
And I'm pretty sure that was pretty much it.
That's great, thank you.
Yeah, they're very well
Fantastic.
organised.
Yep.
Very well organised. Thank you. Okay, Councillor Roylands, 39.
Thank you, Lady Mayor. Just an update on the Forbes heated pool.
Okay, through Madam Mayor, to Councillor Roylands. We've had the hand back of the main part of the heated pool upgrade from the contractors to council. So pretty much that work is, well, mostly completed. There's a few defects that we've still got to sort out, but the site is back to us. As far as getting quotes for the amenities inside, we have got one quote from a local contractor. I'll advise council of that amount in the closed section because it's commercial in confidence, but that as soon as we can finalise that aspect, we can move on to the amenities aspect of the project.
In relation to that, the amenities, the bit of paper with the drawing on, handwritten drawing, which none of us liked. So what have we got a quote on? Because we said that we definitely need toilets, showers and change rooms.
To answer that, Madam Mayor, the update is to have an external shower that's hot and cold, so a washdown one, and then there will be 3 sections as the drawing showed before, and all 3 of those sections will have showers in it as well, so there'll be a total of 4 hot and cold showers, so showers with hot and cold taps.
And change rooms.
As per requested by council.
Yeah, and toilets.
Yep.
Yeah, good. Fantastic. You happy with that, Councillor Roylands? You're on mute, but anyway.
Thank you very much.
Through you, Madam Mayor, I'm just, when you say defects, what are the defects? What do we mean by that? When you say defects to be fixed or amended or?
Here through Madam Mayor to Councillor Willis, they're just minor details, like little areas that just need a bit of touching up and so on, so nothing major by any standard, they're just little things.
You have it with everything you build.
Yeah, I just thought.
Yeah, just tiny little details.
It's not worth mentioning really.
Councillor Herbert?
Through you, Madam Mayor, would we be able to defer this to business without notice? I just would like to raise.
Yep, no worries at all. So, Councillor, you would have known the trail of emails that have been coming from Councillor Herbert, and she's done some investigation. So we'll do that with business without notice in part 1. So could someone take a note of that so I don't forget to do that? Thank you. Councillor Herbert, 53.
Oh, yeah, I just had a question through you, Madam Mayor. I'm not sure to probably Matt. With the finding a premises for the family history group, have we found a premises? Because it says it's completed.
Yeah, through you, Madam Mayor, Councillor Herbert, no, we haven't located the site for them yet, but the search, we understand we need to keep searching for it. So I guess the task was that we advocate for a large premises for their relocation. So we have that in front of our mind to look for the site, but we haven't found the site yet. So I guess semantics, but the task is completed because we're now actively looking.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Thank you. Councillor Roylance.
Number 60, is that right, Madam Mayor?
Yep.
Can I get an update on the grade separation for this project, Hill Highway?
Go through you, Madam Mayor, to Councillor Roylance. There was planned to be a meeting that was lined up, and the councillors would recall from a few days ago, I sent out an invitation to that meeting to discuss the grade separation, and there will eventually, well, hopefully, be three in fairly close proximity, because Transport for New South Wales, their policy is that they have grade separation for all state roads. So we've got three state roads, being Auckland Valley Way, the Escort Way, and the New Highway, that's a field highway, of course. So they may be rail over road, so just the rail over the road, or could be the road over rail, which is your standard version of that. So now I believe that meeting, which you're all invited to, may have been cancelled. I've got to chase that up with Alistair, or postponed. So you'll get an opportunity, hopefully in the next 2 to 3 weeks, to get an update straight from Transport on those.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Councillor Roylance, 105. You're on mute. Mute.
Yeah, it's a bit hard from this end. So, just an update on the Avalon Vampire Jet, where we're heading with that too, getting a lot of questions on it.
Yeah, through you, Madam Mayor. To you, Councillor Roylance, can you hear me okay?
Absolutely, but every now and then it just goes muffled, so someone's muffling things.
So where it's up to is no doubt the community and the councillors will have seen the scaffolding that's been installed. We've now booked in a qualified structural engineer to come over and do an assessment of the fixing pole and the connections to the jet. The engineer's also going to have a look at the internal fuselage. So the idea is to build, the platform's been built to allow us to do internal investigations in the jet. We're also engaged with a gentleman that works for Mid Coast Council. He actually repaired the nose cone portion of a similar Vampire jet that's located on a pole in Wingham. He's going to come down and provide some expert advice as well. So we are now moving into the, I guess, the detailed investigation stage, and what will fall out of that will be the repairs that we're required to do. Hopefully we can do it all in situ on site, but the worst case scenario is if it's too far damaged, we'll have to take it down and repair it on the ground.
Thank you.
Councillor Willis, 110.
Through you, Madam Mayor, just a general question, just a little correction there. It's Fairfield Council, not Strathfield Council. And just wondering about dates. Do we have any dates confirmed for the conference? The Women in Local Government Conference? I know,
No.
but we don't, yeah.
We haven't
Nothing's
heard something, we
I
need a
know,
date.
yeah, I know, but we need a date. As soon as possible.
Well, we need to come up with a date.
Yeah.
They'll be here on the 9th and 10th.
Okay.
For their executive meeting.
September.
We need to negotiate with them at that particular time and then lock in the date.
So 9th and 10th of next month?
Of September.
Yeah. Just I was just thinking getting
You've all got an
speakers, etc.
invitation
Yeah.
and know about it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Right. Councillor Webb.
I'd like to move the recommendation as is.
I'll second it. It's been moved by Councillor Webb, seconded by Councillor Herbert.
I'd like to ask a question to the General Manager, if I may, through you, Madam Mayor. So you've got here that council make a submission to the Office of Local Government regarding development of guidelines. So there's been a lot of recommendations. I'm thinking just in those scenarios is about 90 recommendations, but who, when you say council, is it staff, councillors, or who is actually going to do the recommendations and guidelines on behalf of Forbes Shire Council?
It'll be us.
It'll be council.
Yeah.
It's the whole council, and it has to be obviously at a workshop or at a
So that's
meeting.
my next question was, are we doing a workshop?
But this is the first step to this that's been suggested by the OLG, that we actually seek your willingness for participation, and then we start to schedule those meetings.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded. Is there any other speakers on that? If not, I'll put it. All those in favour say aye. Against, I declare it carried.
What's our next page? Just looking at the page. 68.
Councillor,
Yes.
Through you, Madam Mayor, look, I'd like to accept the recommendation for this, but I just have a question.
Okay, so it's been moved by Councillor Willis, the recommendation. Is there a seconder? Been seconded by Councillor Matisky. Yes.
So my question is just regarding on page 69, Building Better Regions Council, the grant status. Access and inclusion at the Forbes Visitor Information Centre, $185,000. Is that for disability access? Is that what this grant's for? I just was wondering.
Through Madam Mayor, my understanding is yes, that is the case.
And in regards to what, like access into the building, the disabled toilets to be fitted in the building, what's actually included in the grant application, I guess.
Through Madam Mayor, I'll get something to you today. I'll find out exactly. I'll get the grant application to you today.
And I'm sorry, I missed the tour. There was a tour out there. I'm sorry I missed that. I wasn't able to attend. Thank you.
Can I also ask a question?
Yep.
So you talk further on about our flood grant, money coming in. Have we been given an initial okay that we're getting the flood grant money? Do we know exactly how much we're getting?
I'll answer it through you, Madam Mayor, to Councillor Webb. We never try to estimate, we estimate what we're going to get, but we never sort of advise anyone until we know for certain, because quite often it's less than what we ask for. So I'm not even willing to hazard a guess at how much we're actually going to get. It's still in the system. We've finished everything that we're required to do from the staff perspective. It's with the government, and we haven't heard anything as yet.
But it's significant.
It's significant.
Yeah.
It's $7 million.
Yeah. And through Madam Mayor, in relation to your question, Councillor Willis, everything you mentioned is included in that grant.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So it's been moved and seconded. I'll put it. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Against, I declare it carried. Councillor Roylance.
Thank you, Lady Mayor. Just move the recommendation on 79.
It's been moved by Councillor Roylance. Is there a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Clark. Yes.
Can I just ask a question? 325,000 for Jollywood Crossing. What is that for?
That's out of that money we got through Department of Planning, Councillor Roylance. You'd most probably forgotten about it. We got $2 million, and we have to put some of it back environmentally into the lake. And that was, if you want to just fill him in on that, that'd be great.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. Councillor Roylance, yes, so this was part of the public space legacy funding that we received for our excellent DA timeframes a couple of years ago. So as part of that program, we selected a number of items from the Lake Forbes activation plan. That was kicked off with the removal of the elevated walkway at Johnny Woods's. So this is the next stage, which is, I'm not sure if you guys have noticed, but certainly the existing block wall near Tony Bernardi's house has become a bit unstable on the that runs parallel to Johnny Woods' crossing. So we need to remove that portion of the wall, re-stabilise it. We need to, there's also some landscaping that's being done in and around that area. We're also tidying up where the spillway is. So at the moment it's just the old buckets are there, the old footings from the old elevated footways. So that area is just going to be completely tidied up and finished off. So that's what that $300,000 is for. We are currently working on a detailed design of how that will look, and that will be presented back to council for your agreement and review before we move forward with it further.
Thanks very much.
Can I also ask a question?
Yes.
Sorry. So basically, I suppose I'm putting the monthly finance report and this one together. So when we do revokes, and every year we tend to have revokes, rightio. So we have got like for scenario, we have 1.2 million in unrestricted for the Goldbridge Estate housing, right? But when you talk about our monthly reports, that you say that our unrestricted cash is less. But if we've got, hang on, so if we have all this unrestricted cash that we're not actually utilising and sitting there, then why isn't that unrestricted cash being able to use for daily operations? So why are we putting aside money and saying we've only got so much more of this for daily operations, yet we have 1.2 million put aside that we're revoking that we haven't used for other things? I'm sure there's more than that. It's just
We've had this out and I was really surprised that no one took the financial report out.
Well,
because
I'm questioning
having
now.
us not meeting the normal really upsets me in a financial report. And Stefan's been on the other end of that this week. You're quite right. It's just the way that it has been presented. It's an accountant sort of thing.
Accounting standard.
And we were not going to have that we're not meeting the standard again, because we are a very wealthy council. It's the 11 million that you've got to be looking at, which I've been told. But no one's going to look at 11 million when you've got something in red that we're not meeting a standard. So we've now worked that out, that will be presented in a different light.
So am I correct in saying
right.
what I just said? If we've got all this money that we're not using that's unrestricted, then why are we saying on one page that we're not meeting it when actually we've got plenty of money in unrestricted funds for daily operations if we're not using it? Sorry.
Yes. Now, what Stephen and I have had this out. We make our internal restrictions, and that money's within. It's an internal one. It's not a external restriction. Like with sewer and water, we can't touch that kind of money. We have internal restrictions that we place on ourselves, and that is what Jenny is talking about, or Councillor Webb. That money can be used in the accounting standard to make sure we meet the guidelines of the 1.5 million in unrestricted cash. We've worked that out, and we'll certainly do that. If you want to go on for another week on it,
I'm going to add two things. What Councillor, through you, Madam Mayor, what Councillor Miller, Mayor Miller has said is correct. There are two measures here. There's internal restrictions and external restrictions. The 11.6 million down here is the money that council has available to basically spend, to allocate to various funds. We have a huge amount of internal restrictions as a council. This council's been quite conservative in restricting funds internally. For example, we have a plant fund of, say, $3 million. The other thing, we report this on a monthly basis. Most councils do not report this on a monthly basis. These monies fluctuate greatly month on month. Say, for example, that figure that was 81 here is now 2.6 million as of this morning. As at the end of the month, it'll probably be 3.5 million. So what we don't do is we don't reallocate the internal funds on a monthly basis at council. So that's reporting a figure as at a particular point in time, which could be, I guess, misconstrued if you don't have all the details below, which is what we'll do in future reports.
We're also talking about 1.5 million that we're putting aside. So is that just a number we plucked out of the air? Or is it a percentage, or is it something that's been...
It's a standard,
Through you, Madam Mayor, we're talking 1.5 million for what particular...
daily operations.
Yes, that's... okay, yes, that's a standard.
That's
the thing we would generally report to.
So
what we're going to do, and we're coming a long way with these financial reports, they're a lot more positive than what they were, because we are in the positive. So those kind of little things, we've churned away at that this week and worked out how that can be reported in a better light than someone picking up something and seeing that and thinking we're going out the door backwards, which we're not. So that's good that you picked that up, Councillor Webb. Right. So that's been moved and seconded. I'll put it, all those in favour say aye. Aye. Against, carried. Councillor Webb.
I'd like to move the recommendation as is.
It's been moved by Councillor Webb, seconded. Councillor Clark. The floor is yours.
So this is all about endorsing complaint management policy. So, are you...
Complaint.
Pardon? The complaint management policy, that's the one?
Yeah.
So, I'm reading this, have we not had a complaint management policy before?
No.
It's hard to believe that
We've never needed one. This is on a needs basis.
Yeah.
We have never needed it. We now believe that we do need a complaints policy.
Oh, I agree totally, but when I
been...
looked at it and I thought, you're not actually, it's not a version 2 or 3 or 4, it's a version 1.
We just followed generic guidelines.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, and it's really, this is going to be a really important policy, so that we can't have people. You want to talk? Huh?
Can I?
Yeah, this is a stepping stone to make sure that we protect not only the councillors but also the staff in the way they're treated by ratepayers or people. Okay.
Through you, Madam, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Just regarding that, as in other organisations like health and other private organisations, they report their, like we report our congratulations and whatever in the end of our minutes. And with this complaint management, will this be reported through? Like I know, for example, in health, we'd say, how many compliments we've had, how many complaints we've had, how many incident management things we've had. Will that be incorporated as feedback to staff and councillors regarding any complaints in the future?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. I'll put it, all those in favour say aye. Against, I declare it carried. Councillor Duggan.
Thank you. Madam Mayor, I would like to move the recommendation.
It's been moved by Councillor Duggan, seconded by Councillor Willis.
I just would like, we've put it out for exhibition for another 28 days. When does that 28-day expire on those committees? Because we probably need to start moving forward with some of these committees with initial meetings to get...
You haven't had a meeting yet?
No, we haven't, because we haven't had enough. I don't think any of them have had. The tree committee, I don't think any, I think other than...
We don't.
Yeah, so that's probably what I'm asking.
I think you need to add on there that we call a meeting of the committees that we haven't had a meeting for, which is the tree committee, the tourism committee.
Yeah, we don't have the full.
That's what I was querying. Can we go ahead without having the full requirement? So that's what I was. Yeah.
So we'll add that on. So we convene a meeting of the tourism and
the events and tourism committee, and also the tree committee.
Can I also add to that just for information? So you probably can too. If you don't have a quorum, it still comes to council for us to endorse.
Yeah.
So that's how we get around. If
they've got a quorum.
Yeah. But even if they don't, you can still have a meeting and it can be endorsed.
Well, we've accepted these people back in February and we still haven't had a meeting.
Yeah.
So that's added on, we've got that there, scheduled meeting for events, tourism and the tree committee. Okay, you're happy with that, councillor Duggan and councillor
Yes,
Willis?
thank you. That's good.
Okay,
Thanks
I'll
so
put it, all those in favour say aye,
Aye.
against, I carried.
133.
33,
So when we can fit it in.
councillor Willis.
Thank you. I'd just like to move that recommendation, and I just have a few questions. Thank you.
I'll just find the recommendation.
Oh, sorry, it's page 133, and the recommendation is on page 148. Council receive and note the Community and Tourism report for the month of July 2022.
Okay. It's been moved by councillor Willis, seconded by councillor Clark. You can speak to it if you want to now.
Just through you, Madam Mayor, I just wanted to thank the staff for this report and compliment them on their efforts. And I just have a question. T-shirts. Are we going to be? I'm sure they're on the agenda. I just was wondering. T-shirts going to be on the agenda for sale at a visitor information centre with amazing something written on them. And perhaps, I don't know, the Warrior is out of our area. Is it out of our council area? But I can imagine T-shirts with those beautiful warriors on them. Just something like that for our visitor information centre. And that's really all I wanted to ask, simply about the T-shirts.
Thank you. Yeah.
Through you, Madam Mayor, obviously it's an expression of interest going out for items we'll be stocking at our amazing Visitors Information Centre, so by all means, put in if you think T-shirts are the way to go.
No, I think we will make those decisions that whether we want to have T-shirts and hats like everyone else has got and makes lots of money out of them, and we get them printed. So we don't need to put that out to an expression of interest. Where there's some stuff we'll have to do ourselves.
Yeah.
The other is about all produce and all those sorts of things.
And I just may I ask another question? Just regarding the cycle pathways. So I know that there's strong cycle pathways, and there's been announcements by Sam Farrow and whomever else about using our rail lines, but has our tourism department, community and tourism department, looked at negotiating with the established cycle pathway people, innovators, and businesses around the area, because they cycle through to parks and around this area? I'm wondering what we have as, if anything, regarding cycling in this area. For tourism.
I don't think it's ever been brought up, and I don't think there's been any pressure to do anything for cycling.
So could we perhaps investigate that into the future, put it on our agenda for our tourism? Thank you.
Madam Mayor, you're going to discuss
We
that.
need to be careful not to build expectations
that
we can't deliver to the community.
Yeah, and that's fair enough.
These are the kind of things, we need to, it's okay doing a lot of investigation, but it could be very, very costly to do anything. So we've got to be careful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we've
No,
got...
you wanted to speak to something. You wanted to speak to something.
I know I'm going to speak, but I'm just having a look at the resolution that we've got. I'm going to speak about the not only the retail store, but getting our volunteer base back into our VIC and having their area of all their goods and chattels. So I think we need to start having some form of meeting, and I think it would be good if we could have a meeting where as many councillors could come. We get some volunteers back in the room and say, are you interested? We need to go back out to the community and see who's interested in doing their knitting and their sewing and crocheting and that, and have it back into the VIC. So I think it's timely that we start to do that now. So I was just wondering, could we add that onto your recommendation, if you, Councillor Willis and Councillor Clark, that we advertise for volunteers for our new VEC and start to work out what kind of model that will look like. Hang on a minute. Are you happy with that on there? If you're not, I'll leave yours and I'll do this afterwards.
Through Madam Mayor, or just to Madam Mayor, look, I'm happy. I would like to, I know volunteers, you know, they're a dying breed, but I would like to see something start in the community to look at volunteers. So I'm happy if Councillor Clark is to look at advertising for volunteers for the Visitor Information Centre. However, I think we need to be cautious about what we're putting out in our Visitor Information Centre. Yeah, so volunteers you say to work there or?
No,
to
have their own section.
Have their own section. Okay, all right. Not sure.
Okay, well, I'm going to take that off. Will you take that off? Thanks. I'm going to put that motion. All those in favour say aye.
Yeah.
Against, I declare it carried. I'd like to move that we investigate having volunteers back into our BIC and work out what kind of model that would look like and see if there's any interest. So I'm moving that. Would someone like to second it? Seconded by Councillor Clark. Is there any opposition to that? If not, I'll put it. All those in favour say aye. Against, I declare it carried. Okay.
Unless I missed one, I think the next one's me.
I think it is.
No.
172.
No.
Oh, okay, I have missed one.
No, we've got. Yeah, you're going to.
I'd like to move a recommendation that we remove this report of 19.5.
Oh.
Yep. As it was adopted at our July meeting, and it was moved by Councillor Herbert and Councillor Roylance at July meeting. So that's been formally moved to remove it out of our business paper, seconded by Councillor Clark. I'll put it, all those in favour say aye. Against, I declare it carried. Over to you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We must have been a bit light on with our outstanding performances this month, I think.
I've got some verbals.
Oh, do you? Well, the only two that I've got to share with the councillors and community is, one is John Deere, Hutchison and Pearce, an extract from a letter that they have written to us, and it reads, I would like to take the opportunity to thank you for the recent purchase of the John Deere 6110M Tier 2 cab tractor from Hutchison and Pearce at Forbes. We value your business and see this transition along with others you may have it's a stumble with Hutchison and Pearce as a business partnership, not just a sale. Thank you again for your business. We look forward to continuing our relationship and growing our business with you, and councillors would be aware that we try to trade locally as much as we possibly can. And item 2 was from Emma Henderson, local real estate agent. I'd like to thank Jason from Parks and Gardens for going above and beyond his role by fixing a massive pothole in Simpsons Lane, which has been caused by the many delivery trucks and heavy vehicles that race up and down the lane daily. And that's it.
Yeah, and we've had other ones. I've had numerous people have come to me in the last 2 or 3 weeks praising the council, especially I've got to give it to Matt Turl. Every other person is saying what a great job Matt's doing, and it's so good to be in a meeting and they're not banging buggery out of our planners and they're saying all this good stuff. It's very exciting. So, you know, and I'm talking droves of people at the function last night. Everywhere I went around, they said it was a breath of fresh air having Matt doing, you know, heading up our planning department. So, congratulations, Matt. The other one is our engineer, who's got a terribly difficult job at the moment with all of the rain and all of our poor fellows that do roadworks. I know it's frustrating for everybody. We are fielding, between the two of us, lots and lots of calls about access and roads. And I've got to say that every time I hand something over to Richard, that Richard bravely rings the people and tries to, you know, give them some hope that we will get there eventually. But at this point in time, I want everyone to really stick up for those people that do our roads, because they are as frustrated as what the farmer is that can't get down his road. And I think we all need to, it's pretty wearing on them, having all of this abuse, and there is some abusive phone calls. So I think we need to be mindful that that's that's a tough gig at the moment. So thank you, Richard. And I've had people say that our engineer will always ring them. So they're really good things. And everyone gives Steve a bit of a rap. Anyway, I tell him all the time. So,
Thank you.
and it all comes from the top, doesn't it? So, you know, and then of course we've got our thief who doesn't let us have any money, but without him we wouldn't be in the beautiful financial position that we are. So thank you, Stefan. And of course we've got Janelle that looks after all of our needs and makes sure we get where we're going. So thank you, everybody. Okay.
Madam Mayor, could I just, I've actually made an error and would have liked to have pulled one item out. And
You
I've
can do
missed
that.
it, so if I could please.
Just tell me.
Page 130, event update 1813, which I have been harassing Stefan about getting their budgets and the actuals with the Elvis budget. So I was really pleased to see that budget in respect to the estimate for the breakfast alone. So we saved a bit of money on that. I'd just like to know what travel partnership is, if you could explain that. And also we've gone considerably over budget with the Speedway, swinging on the Speedway, whilst we recoup some money with the ticket revenue from that actual event. It's something that we could consider because that was very cheap, the tickets for that event, for what was provided. So perhaps we need to reassess how we do our ticket pricing, and we might even come out even. So if you could address those for me,
Oh yes,
please.
through Madam Mayor. Obviously the budget. So I'll address the budget one first. So when we did this budget up, the actual total budget is $60,000. We actually in the swinging on the Speedway budget. We shouldn't have done it this way, but that was sort of net of ticket sales. So that's not too much of an issue there. I do take your point on the cost of the ticket sales, and we'll definitely be investigating that next week. I think for the travel partnership, my understanding is that's buses between here and parks.
Oh, right.
To get
Okay, yeah,
so basically what happens, all the hotels in Forbes will be full, all the eating venues in Forbes will be full for the week, but then we have, I believe, I'm just
That's
getting
right.
that confirmed now, it's for buses
you don't
between
need
here and parks.
don't need a text.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
have contributed always to the travel between Parks and Forbes for
Yes, I've caught a couple of
Elvis,
them.
and it has been beneficial to us in doing that.
Thank you.
I agree with Mark. There's a fair bit of incentive, the 75,000 that we're doing, but you've already got here that we've already ticketed them at a price. It's already been decided and discussed here at $85 a head.
For next year.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, well, that needs to be reviewed.
Yeah. So if we, through Madam Mayor, if the price is fixed, we probably can't. But yeah, the second we get a chance to
That's
review the
because
price,
it's got event,
the second we get a
it's
chance
got
to review
event
the price.
tickets will be on sale via
Yeah.
the ticket tech, and it's already chosen a price. And I'm not quite sure whether that is negotiable or can be changed.
Yeah.
Rightio, we better check when the tickets go out then.
Everything go right?
Go on ticket tech.
At the moment, yeah.
So can we check when the tickets do go on, so on say what date they actually release them on 1, 2, 3, so we know when we've got to reassess that before that
Through
date.
Madam Mayor, yeah, that's not a problem.
Okay.
Michelle's item to move into.
Yeah, I'm going to finish with this one first. So Mark, you've moved that. Councillor Webb has seconded it. I think it's really important that we get a business case on some of these events we're doing. We want to know what the food's going to cost, what the venue's going to cost, and we want to have a look at it and know that we've been doing a lot of free stuff.
Yeah.
And we can't continue to do a lot of free stuff, even if it's cost recovery. But I think we should, as a council, know exactly what it's costing. Is there any profit margin in, or are we cutting clear? So if I can just say, can we start to get those business cases? We've got plenty of time to do them. We could have had them at any of the committee meetings and had a bit of a spiel on how this has all panned out to that cost. And I think you're quite right. It's pretty tough on us when we don't know what we're funding and what we're not funding, because that's what it amounts to.
Could I just mention, Madam Mayor, that Elvis, I heard it's a $14 million boost to the economy. What is it to us?
Through Madam Mayor, it was the budget there. basically the budget we've got. They're going to say to us, to Forbes Shire Council.
Yeah, I mean, the benefits of Elvis to Forbes Shire Council with all the people staying in town, do we have any figure on that?
We could probably find out what it would be. The cost to council is 60,000.
I'm sure it's gone through rent.
Yeah. We can present that to council. The cost to council itself is $60,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can.
I'm just wondering the benefit side of it.
The
Because,
flow on benefits.
yeah, the flow and benefits.
There's a lot of commercial benefits with just the traffic it brings in to the CBD and your businesses.
I mean, if
but
Elvis is
just
saying it's
gotta
$14
capture that figure.
million to their economy, yeah, it must be a substantial.
I'm just talking to the GM. I think it was about $165 per day is what they, for every adult that you have in your town per day, that's what goes back into your economy.
Yeah.
So that's taking in eating and sleeping here. I think that was the figure that I know from tourism stuff.
Yeah.
So if we worked out about how many people we had staying in the town, I think it'd be unbelievable. And that's the beauty of it. It's now time, you know, we've built our mark for the Elvis Festival now, that we make sure that we are trying to plan for the next year, and even if we have got some dollars to go into the next year, we can enhance what we do in Forbes and also with our travel partnership. Yeah, it's good. Okay, I'm going to put that's been moved by Councillor David and seconded by Councillor Webb. I'll put it, all those in favour say aye, against I declare it carried. Now we're going to go to Councillor Herbert in relation to the plaques
At the
cemetery.
Yeah, Madam Mayor, I sent an email to our engineer last week asking about the height of the plaque, that they would ensure that with our flat one that we have enough runoff if it rains. And I spoke to a monumental mason about it. He felt that we needed to just raise it just a little bit. So, and it's not so much with the etched ones, but the ones that would have gold embossing or silver embossing. He said the water would sit there and it would be washed out. So it needs to make sure it's on the right angle so that the water runs off properly. And it only needs to go up, I don't know, about this much. So I just wanted to make that
So
little
how much
variation.
is this much?
About 5 mil, would you be?
Or maybe 10.
10 mil. That's right, you've got to know how much that is.
But your response covered that, I think.
Through you, Madam Mayor, to Councillor Herbert. The photos that were all distributed to you was just to provide what is there now. So, and I think the advice that you received was 40 mils. So, and I gathered there's somewhere between 20 and 30 mils there already.
Yeah.
So that much might be 10, 20 at most for it to come up in order to get that full 40 mils of fall, if that's what's required.
So it should be right.
So can you guide us on what we need to move here to make sure that we've got it right?
I would suggest that currently it's 20 mils at the front, 20 mils at the back. But if we, the council elected to go with 40 mils on the inner side, so closest to the centre of the beam, and 20 on the outside, so closest to the grass, then I'm pretty confident we'll cover it.
Right.
Okay,
So 40,
thank
20.
you.
Floor's yours now, Councillor Herbert.
I recommend that the top side, what do I call it? Top side be 40 mil and the bottom side be 20.
Ready? Right, it's been moved by Councillor Herbert. Is there a seconder?
Second.
Been seconded. Thank you, Councillor Roylance. Is there any opposition? If not, I'll put it, all those in favour say aye. Against, I declare it carried. That was a pretty good bit of work you've done there, Councillor Herbert. Is there any further
Business without notice?
Yeah?
Yep, and I've got a couple of
We
things
received
to
a
say.
letter, an email from the Forbes Auto Sports Club. Is this where I can raise it? Yeah. They're looking at, in a month's time, having the Australian senior track titles in Forbes, and they're asking if we can give them some assistance financially and also some assistance in some grading of their tracks. So I'd like to move a motion that we support Forbes Auto Sports Club, financially with $5,000 assistance, and support them in some earthworks, regrading of the track.
I'll second it.
So what we will do, I think if you could put,
And we'll need to do an adjustment, yeah.
do the 5,000 and just get our engineers department to discuss the earthworks.
Yeah.
We'll support them, but there will need to be some discussion with the engineer on how that will work.
So
can
council
you-
supported financially and
Negotiate with
And
the
negotiate-
Director of Engineering in relation to
the earthworks.
earthworks. Now, it's been moved by you and seconded by Councillor Herbert.
can provide a bit of information if it helps, just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you?
Because the grader available, like, could be busy.
No, we're not building it today.
No.
There's going to be negotiations for all of that, so we're going to go back.
Through Madam Mayor, just for clarification, and I only read the email over lunch just then. They've requested that one just be on standby in case they need to regrade the track. Because sometimes, particularly if it's a bit mushy, they get ruts in it. Both my boys ride motocross, they might even cover this event, so yeah, and if it gets those deep ruts that can be really dangerous because it makes the bike go like this and they go over the handlebars. So it'll just be on standby. They may not need it, but if they do need it, we just have the grader there, do a quick swipe around the whole track and that's it.
Yeah. And it's on a weekend, so it's not going to interfere with road work.
It's on grazing weekend, 17th and 18th.
We've done a similar thing with the water truck at the rodeo.
Can I add, maybe, and also support them via our media outlets as well, so we can advertise it through our social media, Facebook page, is it?
And our communication
And our
team
communication
promote
team. Yeah.
promote the event. Okay,
promote the
That's what
team.
they asked for.
we'll
Yeah.
pop that on there.
Yeah, and then I'm happy.
We've got our communications person who's very, very good at doing that. So
Thank you.
that will be great. Okay, so that's been moved and seconded. Is there any opposition?
Me.
It's been moved by Councillor Webb and seconded by Councillor Duggan.
Okay.
I think yes. Michelle.
Oh, Herbert, yeah, I'm sorry, you were too. I got the wrong one there. Okay.
I
I'm
have
going to
two.
put it. All those in favour say aye. Against, I declare it carried. Councillor Duggan.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just two items I have without notice. Firstly, the Templar Street pergolas. Lovely to see them up and great comments about them. My question is, I believe that it's the wisteria is going in there, is what I've been told on good advice. I thought the last meeting we were just going to discuss that further or get a little bit of information in respect to whether wisteria would be the best or ornamental grape or something, just with there being paved area, if anyone has any info on that.
They've been purchased.
Oh, well, let's stop me in the track.
Yeah,
I
you
didn't know
just
about
stop. They've been purchased and they're low, what make pollen stuff, aren't
Yeah.
they? Yeah, I actually found this out this week.
that. I agree with Councillor Duggan, I didn't think a decision had been made.
Well, apparently the plants have been purchased, but we'll get someone to clarify that for us.
Well, yeah, because I believe it's wisteria, which can be pretty invasive. Whether it's been
It is.
contained within a container, I think that's been the case. We haven't been given that information clearly. So can we have it, what it is, how it's going to be
And have
placed
they
there?
been purchased?
And well, I believe they're purchased and growing second-hand information, but and whether, because wisteria can get terribly invasive in like your
It can leave roots.
paving and everything, and you know some of the businesses may not want it popping up in their shops. So
And is
just if we can check that.
Is it white or mauve?
I have been told why, but you know this information is second-hand,
It's a
so.
slower, less invasive one.
Well, and that may be exactly right, but just can we have confirmation, because I don't believe we've made a final decision on it. And we don't want anything else happening about Templar Street. We want it all to finish very nicely if we can.
Okay, well, That's very good.
Okay, so if we can just sort of get that info. My second item is that we did have some information presented to us re wayfinding around the lake about the number of signage, etc., and where it was going to be put, and we're going to look a little bit like Pitt Street. That seems to have just gone off.
Yeah, we're going to go
So can I ask where that is? Has there been, again, I don't believe there was final decisions made by council or... Thanks, Matt.
Pleasure. Through you, Madam Mayor. Councillor Duggan, yes, you are correct. We did start on the wayfinding strategy and had produced some mock-ups and had consulted with you guys principally a little while back. The consultants, as well as us, have been a little slow on reactivating that. So we've been engaging with the consultants, but we haven't got the information back from them, as far as I'm aware, to then re-present to you guys at this point. But certainly, again, it's part of the public space legacy funding that we talked about earlier, the $2 million.
Because we've got a short time to. That was I thought that's why we were sort of put under pressure to make a decision, because there was a short time to use that money.
There is, but we did definitely take the point that we didn't want the lake to look cluttered. And we don't want it to look like it's, as you say, Pitt Street. We've got lots and lots of advertising signage or directional signage. So the point was, we've asked for a short extension, so to be able to get it right.
Okay, thank you.
And can we make sure we have a look at that before it gets built?
Yeah.
Good. Yes.
Are you next?
No.
Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a question without notice. Just query with the draft master plan for Q Wilson Oval. Is that under you, Matty? Richard? Unless I'm reading this wrong, Q Wilson Oval has got listed number 18 in the middle of no cricket pitch. And it's saying that number 18 is play equipment within the grounds to provide amenities for young children and so on. But it's play equipment is marked in the very middle of the. So I know it's only a draft. But,
I see.
I'm just bringing it up.
Oval, Huey Wilson,
Yeah.
is that the one?
Yeah. So if you look, there's no cricket pitch listed on the draft, or on the list of features, but it's just got 18 and 18, which if you look, it's play equipment. It's just a mistake, I'm sure.
Just for you, Madam Mayor, Councillor Claudiana. I'll have to take it on notice and get some information for you, but I suspect we will.
Yeah, it's just this.
Yeah.
These need to be right before there's any consultation. We've consulted this to death, really. But we need to make sure these are right, so that's a good feedback. Okay. In relation to Spooner's Oval, I've had a request from the senior league. Everyone would be aware that the Magpies, they've got a semi-final here next weekend. They get a week off because they've done so well. But over there where the watering system's gone in, they've filled it up with sand and that, but a lot of bark has been coming off some of the players. So can we make sure that surface and where those little dips and that are, a few people have complained about it that come here to play, as well as the players. Can we check Spooner's Oval out for the playing field and make sure that there's no holes and bumps and things where people can get hurt? We've got another week, the whole week to do it, because they don't play, not this weekend, the following. And the reason we need that done is we win, which is we're on the cards to win in a week's time. We have got the ability to get the grand final. And that's a really big coup for us. So we need to maybe look at that now and do some work over there and make sure it's up to scratch. Is that okay? So everyone's happy with that to happen.
Yep.
I just wanted to make sure there was a lot of nods in the room, because I'm a tragic football watcher, and I thought I need all of your support on this one. So that's good.
Happy to prevent injuries when possible.
Yes. I think that was. Has anyone got any? Yes, Councillor Matisky.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to move a motion that we write to the federal and state governments on funding for charging points for EV cars. Over the if I can have a seconder for it.
Yeah, it's been moved by Councillor
second
Matisky, seconded by Councillor Willis.
The predictions from the Federal Chamber of Automotive Industries are saying that in 2025 there's going to be 170,000 electric vehicle charging systems in private homes and 8,600 needed in public spaces. So it's going to be a big hole in our budget if we've got to start financing these electric charging points in our Shire. And it's very close to 2035, the ACT government are banning all fossil fuel cars. So we're getting very, very close to that. And also it's coming back into our engineering department. If the governments haven't set up anything on taxing electric cars or hybrid cars. So there's all that money is getting lost to us and in grant money, and we need to get onto the governments now before it starts to get to the point where we've got to put in a dozen charging stations or more here. Thank you.
And I think we're a bit slow off the mark on this, really, aren't we?
I think we missed the boat.
Yeah.
Because there was a scheme, I think Park's got some million got a COBO by council.
Investigate funding for charging points.
I think there's still opportunities for providers to do it. I know that the MPOL, or the old, what were they called before, they're going to be rolling them out across the state. They're putting them in at their service stations. There's a couple of things with it. I think we do need to write and ask whether there is any funding for charging stations, but we also most probably need to get onto Tesla and whoever their providers are, because they like to put them in as well. We need to just get in and fight until we get one.
So, through you, Madam Mayor, I have brought up EV charging stations historically, and when the grants came out in May for them, and was reassured that we're not going to be behind the 8 ball because there's other sources of funding. And my concern was that the JO was applying for, as I said previously, the JO was applying for the EV charging stations in their jurisdictions as well as ours. We don't have one in our Shire, as I said, but all the other shires have one. So I guess I questioned why is that happening? Why didn't we as a council, I suppose, run with that grant? And it went to the JO, but I was informed that, look, there is other funding and stuff regarding EV charging stations coming through. So I think Councillor Matisky, it's a valid point, but I thought that we do have something within our planning for EV charging stations. If you'd like to just refresh everyone's memory about it.
Through you, Madam Mayor. Yes, Councillor Willis, that's correct. So the latest round of LRCI grant funding, Stephen, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a couple $100,000 for charging stations.
Through you, Madam Mayor, page 83, solar project and EV charging station, LRCI $385,000.
So once that money is provided to us, then we'll be putting in street public place charging stations. We also do, and you're correct, Councillor Willis, there is an initiative through the JO. They are for fast charging stations. They're $250,000 charging stations, those ones, very expensive. They are, if we're lucky enough to get them, would be scheduled out to be installed out at the Visitor Information Centre. So ideally, what we've kind of worked out is we want to have fast charging out at that point particularly, but you want to have the slow or the medium-sized charges in the town.
In the CBD.
So people will spend the hour to walk around the town while their car gets charged. So all things considered, we should have maybe have a couple out at the Visitor Information Centre, but certainly have a couple in town or two.
And as long as we have the power and the infrastructure to support that as well, no point getting the money and going, oops, we can't support it.
Through you, Mayor, definitely. Yes, Councillor Lewis, the facilities team have been investigating that very heavily. We're lucky we have a qualified electrician on our books.
Yes.
And he's all over the network connections that those charges require.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you. So we've got that motion. we will investigate that.
I think it'd be good to have it as letters to the state and federal government on opportunities to, or for them to.
The motion was
out.
that we write a letter to the
Right,
state and federal
yeah.
government. So I don't know what's happened
My
there.
bad, I heard investigate funding opportunities, so thank you.
No. The motion was to write to the federal and state governments in relation to funding for EV charging stations.
And we probably need to add on what are they going to do with the taxi with electric cars? Because the fuel, they're not gaining any fuel tax from those cars, so they've got to be doing something about the charging or getting road tax back from those vehicles.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to put that. All those in favour say aye. Against? I declare it carried. So it's formally on the books and we can follow it all the way until we actually get a charging station. I can't think of anything else in part one. Has anyone got any more comments or questions? Okay, well, what I will do is get someone to move that we will break for a cup of tea and then we'll come back. Okay, moved by Councillor Roylands, seconded by Councillor Willis. I'll put it. All those in favour say aye. Against? I declare it carried.
Too funny.
We'll kill the